Hi there, my name is Toby and this is JEDI training, and this continues along in the series, so every one of these videos follows on from the last one, so please do check out the whole series. And today I'm working on something I call RIBCAGE push-ups. Now these are very important for many reasons, and I'm building up the body step by step in the most important way that I can see to do. So here you start off by pulling in the belly, lifting up the shoulders, lifting up the rib cage, pulling the elbows back and arching back. You want to feel the point here at the back of the rib cage between the shoulder blades. It's a particular point opposite the front here. Open the chest in the front, but pull the belly in. You've got to activate the belly towards the spine, the navel towards the spine. This is the TA muscle. And you're also pulling in at the sides, the obliques, twisting a little bit. You see, this is about creating a dynamic tension in the spine. We've got to activate the spine. So we've already done the work in getting the right spinal alignment here. Slight backwards arch, pull in the belly, lift up the rib cage and the shoulders, pull them back, hold the belly in. Now the arms up, you feel the alignment of the spine, the crown of the head pulling up, but the base of the spine, the sacrum pulling down, you're stretched. Now what you're doing is arching a little bit back, opening the rib cage, pulling the arms back, and then coming a little bit forward, closing the rib cage a little bit, hunching a tiny little bit forward. You're creating a dynamic arch backwards and forwards in the spine. But it's really not even the spine, it's the rib cage. It's not even so much the arms and the shoulders, it's the rib cage. You're trying to move the rib cage, open the rib cage and pull it back, pinching between the shoulder blades. There's a point right opposite your heart center. So the heart chakra just in front of just at the sternum goes to the back here, point between the middle of the shoulder blades here. And you want to feel that point pinching. You're arching back to that point. You're trying to bend back the thoracic spine, the top part of the spine. And you'll feel it. It feels like a very pleasant stretch. It's a lovely morning stretch when you get it right. Opening up the rib cage, pulling them back. And then as you breathe out, you collapse forward. So of course you're doing with the breathing. Inhale, you pull open, arch back, pinch behind. Exhale, collapse forward. Again, trying to move the rib cage. It's not so much the belly. You've got to keep the belly pulled in and the obliques tight. And try and feel the expansion at the back of the ribs. Although you're arching back to that point, you're still breathing to that point, expanding into that point. You're increasing the pressure at that point. It's a very important point. I'm going to talk more and more about it. It's to do with your energy body. It's called the assemblage point. And again, in Carlos Castaneda shamanic practice, he gives it that name. It's called the assemblage point. It's where your energy body and your physical body connect. But it's right opposite the heart chakra. I talk about the heart chakra a lot. It's the seat of your soul. So between the assemblage point and the heart chakra, right in the middle of your chest, that is the seat of the soul, the point from which the magnetic field of your body will emanate once you get coherence. So this is all about feeling the heart center and gaining coherence from the center. But we're doing this with powerful physical exercise. So here now, this is an easy push-up, but this is the rib cage push-up. Now you've done the movement in the air. What you're trying to do is do that movement with a little bit of body weight. You see, I'm opening the rib cage, inhaling and arching back, pulling the rib cage back to the assemblage point, squeezing between the shoulder blades. But I'm just using my body weight to help. Again, I'm bending the arms, but not really much in the elbows. I'm trying to do the movement in the rib cage. Rib cage opens and then closes, again with the breathing. So when I close the rib cage, I'm pushing forward. When I open the rib cage, I'm going backwards, going down. I'm using my body weight. And I'm trying to get the movement from the midpoint, the seat of the soul. So I'm squeezing, pinching to the back, the assemblage point, and opening the heart chakra. And then I'm closing the heart chakra and opening the assemblage point. I'm squeezing, expanding the rib cage, pulling it back, and then collapsing the rib cage, pushing it forward, using the breathing. See here I'm inhaling, opening the back of the ribs. Now I'm doing quite a lot, really feeling the stretch, so you might just breathe a bit more naturally. So again, you can play with it. Now when you get good at this, now this is difficult, I kid you not, so be careful, because you can hurt your spine. You're going to arch your spine, so be careful. You've got to pull your belly in. And again, it's the obliques, and you're also using the obliques going up to the boxer's muscle here. So you see, I lift the shoulders up and back, pull back, holding that stretch back, I then squeeze forward. I squeeze forward with the obliques, the boxer's muscle, the rib cage. So again, I'm opening the rib cage up and back, keeping that extension, but at the same time now collapsing it, squeezing it forwards. I'm creating a dynamic tension, an increase of pressure inside my chest. Again, you've got to be careful if you've got high blood pressure, any blood pressure problems, only do this gently. I'm doing this now very advanced so you can see where this can go and how this relates to punching. The last one we did was on punching. See, now this is an extension. Inhale, lift up and back. Exhale, I'm keeping that lift up and back but pulling down and forward using the obliques, the boxer's muscle, crunching in. But you see, it's a dynamic tension. I'm lifting up and back and pulling down and forward at the same time. So it's not even about the movement, it's about creating an expansion and then a compaction and increase of pressure. So here now you can do it on hands and legs. Now you see I go down. Now this is like cat-cow in yoga. But you can see how dramatic the arch is. I'm trying to arch back right at the middle of my shoulder blades. I'm letting the shoulders stretch all the way back. I've got a dramatic stretch in the scapula, the shoulders, but I'm arching the spine back and the rib cage. I'm trying to open, expand the rib cage. So it's all the way to the midpoint, the seat of the soul. I'm squeezing, pinching back to the assemblage point between the shoulder blades at the back, expanding the rib cage, sagging down, and then I'm using the force of my obliques, the boxer's muscle, collapsing, crunching in the rib cage, squeezing in the belly to go forward. So you can see it's a rib cage push-up. It's not the pectoral muscles, it's not the elbows. I'm trying to isolate all the power into the rib cage, the seat of the soul, and synchronize it even with the breathing. Now here's more advanced. It requires strength in the hands, but I can go a bit lower if I go a bit higher. So you can see how dramatic the stretch is. Now to me this feels lovely. It's a wonderful, wonderful stretch. I only do it and now I'm going side to side. You see I'm shifting my body weight side to side and all the power comes from the rib cage to get up again. But it's the rib cage, the obliques, the boxer's muscle and the belly, the TA muscle. TA muscle. Now again, this is a slightly easier version, hands and feet. This is a bit easier to do, so you might try this, but you've got to feel the point. You see, I'm trying to drop my heart chakra down, dropping my heart chakra down and pinching at the back, the assemblage point. Now I pull the heart chakra in and stretch out the assemblage point at the back. It's like I'm expanding and contracting the seat of the soul, synchronized with breathing, increasing the pressure at the back and then increasing the pressure at the front, together with the breathing. Inhale as I go down, inhale to the back of the ribs, Again, this is also called bucket breathing, expanding as deep down as possible into the back of the ribs. Once I've got that, now I'm bouncing left and right, because I'm now taking the pressure from my rib cage in my spine. It's not the arms, it's not even the pectoral muscles to some degree. Because it is, but I'm trying to localize, I'm trying to use correct body dynamics to do a movement. Now you can see I'm standing up and how you see this will become a punch. If you look at the last part of the JEDI series talking about vertical spine, how to use that, now this is a movement in the spine, but it's the rib cage. I'm actually punching from the rib cage. Again, tricky to see, tricky to do, but you can start playing around with this once you've got the hang of what we're doing. And if you're already a martial artist, you've already got some moves, now you'll be able to do something. Try working on these internal moves. I'm trying to explain something very different in martial arts. Hardly anyone is talking about this. If you get the internal body dynamics correct, your martial arts will get better. This is very subtle. Very subtle. It's hard to see what I'm doing. So I'm trying to explain it as I go. Look, it's the expansion and the contraction movement of the rib cage generating power. And that power then comes from the vertical spine. But that's literally just the rib cage. Inhale and exhale. You can see the breathing is actually mechanical power. It's not even esoteric. Anyway, I hope this made sense. Please do check out the whole JEDI series. Thank you so much for watching. And if you practice very carefully, very slowly, you can hurt yourself. So thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in any of these other videos here.